Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Mamaprenuer podcast. My name is Robbin, and I am your hostess with the mostest. Today is episode number 31, and today's episode is all about podcasting. We have some fabulous podcasters that are going to be my guests tonight, and you get to hear a lot about them, their journey, their why, and what makes their podcast so fabulous, just like they are in real life, just fabulous. So, so if this is your first time joining us, thank you and welcome. Welcome to the madness. Welcome to the fun. All right. For my people that have been rocking with us the past 30 episodes or so, thank you again for your continued support of the Mama Career podcast. Um, as always, each and every episode, I always like to give a shout out to the fearless leader of the Power Team platform, Kesha Kesh. Thank you for giving me this platform and opportunity to be able to do this for the people every second and fourth Thursday evening from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Make sure that you guys are tuning in. Each show is fabulous because I'm hosting it. Okay, so. All right. Gotta love the sound effects. Okay, so audience, you guys know the deal. If this is your first time, you're gonna get put to work. All right. So everyone, if you're watching me live on Facebook or watching the replay, please make sure that you share tonight's live broadcast. All right, or replay. You're going to share and then type hashtag Mamaprenuer in the comments. I am doing some giveaways tonight. Myself and some of our fabulous guests are doing some giveaways. So, but you must share the live broadcast or the replay to be able to be entered. So hashtag Mamaprenuer in the comments. Okay. Share. You never know. This podcast tonight could help someone and they didn't even know it or you didn't know it. So, next thing to put you to work on, if you are an entrepreneur in the audience, this podcast came about from networking. So we're going to keep the party going. So if you are an entrepreneur in the audience, please type your link to your website, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Please type that in the comments. Let's network amongst each other in the audience. Again, your business may be a blessing to someone. So, hey, my famous quote is closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't put yourself out there, you never know what kind of business will come from that. Okay. All right. Yeah. I like to give you guys instructions before we get started. Amen. Instructions. Okay. Again, for those who are joining for the first time, my name is Robbin Kelton, born and raised in Dallas, Texas, working corporate by day and serial entrepreneur all around. Been a hairstylist for over 24 years. Lord, we do a little bit of everything. I just recently started a salon coaching business where I coach salon suite owners to help them grow and transform their businesses. It is called Savvy Salon Systems. Make sure you follow on Instagram and TikTok. I'm working on the Facebook, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that directly. All right. So, I'm a paparazzi consultant. The minute we get offline tonight, I will be doing a live on my personal page. So you guys come and shop with a sister for the good $5 bling. All right. Also, I'm a Mary Kay consultant and have been for the past 14 years. I love all things Mary Kay. Their skincare is thebomb.com. All right. This podcast came about, again, from a networking event. And Kesha gave me a chance, and I specifically wanted to cater towards female-based businesses and be able to shine a light on them. There's plenty of room for everyone to eat, to grow, to evolve. So hence that's why there's a guest get a guest or four on every show. So, okay. Before I get to my ladies, who are just dying to chat with me tonight, I can just see it on their faces. Not at the moment, but anyway. So, a few things. Have you been to the Mamaprenuer podcast website lately? Well, this is your cue to go to the website, buy a shirt. We got merch, y'all. Hashtag merch. Showing previous episodes, lots of information, upcoming episodes, all the things. It's still growing. I'll be adding to it as we go along. But check out the mamapreneurpodcast.com website. You'll be glad you did. Y'all remember those old school commercials when people used to say that at the end? Anyway. All right. Next, I am offering a service for the Mamaprenuer platform as a way, if you're not able to be a physical guest on the show, it's called affiliate marketing. So I can market your business for you, even if you're not a guest on the show. If you need more details, please reach out to me directly or Power Team directly, and I'd be happy to set up a call with you to go over more details. This platform is played on many different platforms, and it's a great way to get your name out there. Just saying. All right. So if you're wanting more exposure for your business and you're not able to make the show and want to go the affiliate marketing route, please let me know. I'll be happy to assist. All righty. Next, we're calling all malepreneurs. Been cracking this joke the past few shows, and we're just going to keep the party going. Fellowpreneurs, dude-preneurs, manpreneurs. Doesn't matter. If you have a business and would like more exposure for your business, I am doing a show later in the year. One of my guests, her son is going to be on the show, and I can't wait to shine a light on him. But this is your time to shine, men's. I had a guy say that I always have the ladies on. What about the guys? And so, okay. So I'm calling the guys, men's, Kesha said papapreneurs. Papapreneurs. If you would like more exposure for your business and would like to be spotlighted on this show, please get with me. I'd be happy to chat with you and give you more information. Also, calling all nonprofit organizations. I am doing a show just to spotlight nonprofits. If you are interested, please reach out to myself, Kesha Kesh, Power Team. I'd be happy to get with you about that and more information. But calling all nonprofit organizations, you guys need as much shine and spotlight more than any of these other businesses that are out there because you're nonprofit. So I would love to be able to do that for you. So please reach out, and coming soon on the date of that episode. So, all right. Now, if you've watched the show before, you know your girl is notorious for a good affirmation. All right. So I love affirmations. I love what it's about. I love the power of manifestation, speaking positive things into your life. You speak positive things will come to you. And so, firm believer of that. And so each show, I always, drop a few gems. I'm like the Dr. Real of my own show. So Dr. Real is on the Power Team show on Wednesdays, and he always got a good quote, some one-liners. He's amazing. So I like to come with my own affirmations, one-liners, if you will. So if you're into that kind of thing, get a pen, some paper, your note section in your phone, whatever, and write these joints down. Again, when you're writing out your affirmations, they don't have to be all drawn out. They don't have to be all eloquent. It can be 4 words. I am, and whatever that is. It's whatever you feel at that time, long as it's positive and it's something that you believe in or believe that will happen soon for your life. All right. first is I am worthy of great things to happen in my life. All right, I'm going to say it again. I am worthy of great things happening in my life, or to happen in my life, sorry. Okay. Next, I am headed into the best season of my life. I am headed into the best season of my life. Okay. I will make a positive impact on the people in my life and those that I cross paths with. I will make a positive impact on the people in my life and those that I cross paths with. All right. My name is highly spoken in rooms that I will soon enter. My name is highly spoken in rooms that I will soon enter. My mind is a powerful magnet for a profitable business. My mind is a powerful magnet for a profitable business. And last but not least, major doors will open for my business this month. Major doors will open for my business this month. All righty. Well, I hope you all enjoyed these fabulous affirmations. I hope these blessed you like they blessed me in writing them. So that's that. All right. On to my fabulous guest. Again, tonight's episode is all about podcasting. Before I shine a light on these ladies, please make sure you have shared tonight's live broadcast and type hashtag Mamaprenuer in the comments in order to get your name added into the drawing for some free stuff. Who like free stuff? I like free stuff. You should too. Okay? All right. Now, before I introduce my ladies, I just want to give a few stats on podcasting. I say within the past couple years, podcasts have been, they have grown. They've become more popular. I remember there was a time nobody wasn't really talking about podcasts. And then you hear little chatter about podcasts. But now you can get on Instagram right now and do a hashtag search just on podcasting and see that has grown, just tremendously, for the podcasting market. You can do a podcast on anything. Everybody's podcast that's up here today is totally different from the next person's. So that's the cool part about it. You can tailor it to however you want it to be and get an audience from it. I love it. Mm-hmm. So a few stats on podcasting. 67% of podcast hosts are female. Female. And 33% are male. Which I thought was it. I actually thought it was the other way around. But then I started kind of doing a little bit more research and I was like, okay, that's 67%, maybe right. And that was as of last month when I did that research. Next, there are over, 383.7 million podcast listeners globally. And could possibly reach over 424 million podcast listeners worldwide by the end of the year. Okay. As of last month, there are over 3.4 million podcasts with over 66 million episodes between them. My God. Okay. And then there's so many different platforms that you can do your podcast on. Power Team alone, I crack jokes on that will be in space soon because it's everywhere now. I even talked up Apple Podcast, and here we are on Apple Podcast as well. But there's so many different platforms: Google, Spotify, you name it, Amazon, YouTube, Facebook. You're looking at us on Facebook. Hey, Facebook, YouTube. You're looking at us now live on there. And then there's so many different genres of podcasts from, okay, I'm entrepreneurship. We got religion, Christian. We got relationships and all the things. We got self-care, life coaching, you name it. You know, you got some that's on health and wellness and music, and there's so many different types of podcasts. So if you haven't, we even got my good friend and Natisha's good friend Stephanie, who just started her own podcast on this platform on education. So again, if you want to start a podcast, you can. anything, any genre you want it to be on. And I'm gonna do a quick plug. You can come on to Power Team and join the family. Kesha will appreciate that. All right. So we're gonna go around the room, and everyone's gonna introduce themselves, starting with Tawanda. Tell the people about you.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Tawanda. I am a native Baltimorean. I love being a girl from Baltimore. I am the wife to an amazing man, and I am honored to steward two Kingdom Purpose little girls. I currently serve as the executive director at High Calling Ministries in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and I am here today because I host the Operating in the Spirit of Kingdom Excellence podcast. And where we talk about what it means to serve the kingdom of God in the spirit of kingdom excellence. I am passionate about administrative and leadership excellence in the Lord's church. And on the heels of this global pandemic, there are a lot of things that we can tighten up and do better in our service to the kingdom. So I'm honored to be here with you all today.
Thank you, sis, so much for joining. Thank you. So I'm so excited for everyone to hear about what you do. I love it. All right, next, Jaleisha, Coach Jaleisha. You on mute, girl.
Thank you so much, because I would have just went off at the mouth, and yes. But hey, everybody, I'm Coach Jaleisha J. I am a self-love coach. I am from Dallas, Texas, born and raised, even though I want to get out of Texas, but that's another story. But I am a co-host with two other beautiful ladies of Girls Be Like the podcast. And we love to dive into everything, hot topics of the week, culture topics. We also talk about deep healing, spiritual healing. We go into, dating and married life. And we just like to just break it down and have girl talk. And so that's the basis of the podcast and who we are and what we do. And then on the side as well, I am a coach and I also am an author, and we'll get into more of that. But yeah, that's me. Hi, everybody.
Hey, girl. Thank you. All right, now. All right. And I'm going to introduce you guys individually, even though you're on the same show. So I'm going to go to the fabulous Kendria Taylor, extraordinaire.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. I'm not even going to talk about our podcast. I'm going to let Natisha do that because it is her baby. And we've been friends forever. So we talk a lot about girlfriend stuff and really the female relationship, how we bonded over the years, how difficult it is sometimes to build friendships. But we talk about all the things that girls talk about. I'm also wearing a pair of her fabulous earrings because I'm always supporting her business. But my name is Kendria Taylor, and I am the principal and senior consultant for my company. I run it full-time, TG8 Solutions Insight. And my job is to go in and train corporate, nonprofits, universities, whoever needs leadership training and leadership coaching. I do a lot of performance coaching with managers. So I'm a small boutique firm, but I have some major clients. So I'm super proud of that. But that is who I am. And I am the co-host of Sisters with Voices and being unapologetically you. So Natisha, I'm going to go over to you.
The fabulous Natisha Booker.
Did you see that intro? That's why she's my co-host. That was a marvelous intro. Thank you, Kendria. My name is Natisha Freeman Booker, and I am the creator of Creative Ideas that does artwork, earrings, paintings, coasters, anything creative that comes out of my brain, I make it. And I am the one that dragged Kendria into doing a podcast with me because we sit around and talk about how to save the world and change everything in the world. And I said, well, maybe somebody would want to hear what we have to talk about. And we enjoy it. We have a great time. We laugh. We dive into some serious issues. We talk about crazy, funny issues, and we just have a good time and enjoy each other's company. And that's what makes us successful, I believe.
Awesome. I'm so glad you ladies are here. Yay. This is her third time on the show, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I love it. She's one of my biggest supporters, and I'm just so glad her and our host, Steph Powell, are co-leads at church. That's how we met, because I am their life group coach at church. And then I met Kendria, the fabulous Kendria from Natisha. And then I met Jaleisha at the gym. We was trying to, get it tight, get it right, get it tight at the gym. And then met Tawanda through a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, y'all get in some groups on Facebook. You never know who you may meet. I think the past few shows have been people I've met through Facebook groups. So, I love it. So before we go any further, Tawanda, how long has your show been on the air?
Yeah, so I actually started podcasting last October. So it's been it's been a year, and it's been an experience.
I bet. Yeah. Okay. Jaleisha, how long has your show been around?
It's a baby. We just started about 6 months ago.
Okay.
So March of this year. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. Still learning. Mm-hmm. I'm still learning, child. We're a year and a half later. I'm still learning. Kendria and Natisha, how long?
It's been a little over a year, right, Natisha? A little over a year.
You on mute, girl. Natisha, you on mute, girl.
Sorry. So yeah, it's been a little. I know I was going into it. That was good. But initially, I started the podcast on the Perfectly Imperfect platform. That's the overarching platform for our podcast. And it was just myself just kind of getting some things out there. And that started in 2020. So in preparation for this podcast, I went back and looked, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing this back in 2020 and just didn't realize it. Kendria came on board in 2021, and we've been going strong since then.
Okay. And I asked that because I had done some other research, and over 1.3 million podcasts were formed during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I said, man, because we ain't had nothing else better to do. Exactly. We was at home, we was shelter in place and everything. And so, hey, why not do a podcast? Or a podcast came my way. That was November. I came on the Power Team show March of last year. And then we're April 8th will be 2 years.
So Robbin, I think during the it's interesting that that's a statistic, because I think during the height of the pandemic, we couldn't get with our girlfriends, we couldn't get with our friends, and this was definitely something that me and Natisha it was a way for us to catch up again, right? It was a way for us to bond. And it's like, girl, you missed out on this, and I've been doing this, and you've been doing this. And so it was definitely a way for us to kind of bond again and just kind of catch up with each other.
Yeah. And our filming days are days. Like, we have to block out the day because we literally sit down and talk for probably 2 hours before we start recording. And then we record for another 2-3 hours. And then we have to eat. So
I was just going to say, when are we making time to eat a beverage?
yeah, it's in there.
Oh, it's all in there. Yeah.
It's all in there.
Okay. Now, you brought up something that kind of sticks out. So how did you all kind of found your niche? Like, all right, this is what I want to talk about on my show. Well, talk about that process. Anybody can go.
So for Kendria and myself, we brainstorm on topics that are important to, or that are interesting to us. Then we sit down with 5 to 10 topics and we think, okay, is this something that someone else would want to hear? Because there's conversations that her and I have that don't nobody want to hear that. That's just us being silly. But then there's some topics about being an African-American woman walking into a boardroom, which is something, Kendria has been part of a board for a long time. I wasn't on the board, but I had to attend board meetings. And we did a whole podcast about being in a boardroom full of white males wanting to hear our voices, and how to overcome that and what it felt like and what work trauma we had to deal with to move past that. So, we brainstorm on topics and then we think about things that could benefit someone else and that they could listen to and think, oh, you know what, that's a really good idea. That's a really good topic we would love to talk about. So that's how we come up with it.
Okay. Tawanda?
Yeah. So for me, as a church executive, many church executives are on the go constantly, and finding time for them to either listen to something. Podcast was the easiest way to get their attention. In the car for 15-20 minutes, they are more inclined to listen versus having to go download something or review a piece of work, whatever that may be. Podcasting was an easy way to say, hey, I'm in the car traveling for 15-20 minutes. Let me listen to something that will help me grow in my leadership capacity versus having to go buy a book, right? I believe leaders read. Like, I'm pro reading, right? But I recognize that leaders are learners. And that means we look to gather information any way that we can. And I found church leaders, especially during this pandemic, have leaned more towards, hey, I'd rather get in the car or at the gym or wherever, and I'll listen to a podcast. So for me, that kind of was the motivation behind choosing to podcast.
Okay. Awesome. Jaleisha?
Well, for me, because I share a podcast with 2 other women, so it's 3 of us, and we actually met. We were doing bedroom candy. And
okay.
I don't know if everybody knows about that, but we were doing bedroom candy, and we were doing lives together just sporadically, just talking about bedroom candy. And we saw that there was a chemistry. We've never met each other in person. We were all on different parts of the United States, and we were just like, you want to do a podcast? How are we going to make this work? Because we don't want to talk about bedroom candy. We want to talk about, just sisterhood, womanhood. And so it became, since we're 3 different people with 3 different personalities, every week it was, you bring what you feel upon your heart. And so normally when we initially started, we wanted it to be about just girl talk, but it became this space of like healing from past heartbreak, healing from sexual trauma, mental health issues, depression. So it done expanded way more than I thought it was going to go, because it just opened us up to a place where we can unload and we can heal all together. It's a safe space.
Okay. Now, knowing that podcasting is such a, what do I want to call it? I'm going to say it's a saturated market. What do you guys do to kind of get your brand out there? to get views and things of such?
Facebook, social media, word of mouth. For me, I'm in a Facebook group specifically for ministry leaders. So it is a way, I noticed that when I post information about the podcast and direct people there, the feedback from, hey, I was able to listen, resonates with them. So again, it's understanding my audience, knowing who I'm talking to, knowing my tribe, if you will. That Facebook group definitely has been helpful for me. So social media by far has been amazing.
Okay.
I would say social media as well. I mean, each one of us have our own platforms. We all have our own businesses. We're all entrepreneurs. And so we promote our own platforms, but then we also started a Facebook group. We started our own Facebook page. We started our own YouTube channel. We started an Instagram channel. We started promoting on Snapchat and TikTok. And so that's been, and also word of mouth, but that's been helpful. And we've also networked with other podcasts. So we will be guests on their show, and that way they can come on our show, which helps because that gets viewership, that gets their viewers to tune in, and you gain more audience. So it's been about networking and then maximizing social media as much as possible.
Okay.
And I think that would be for everybody, right? I think just being on social media and just making sure you're pumping it out there as much as possible.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. What is everyone's favorite thing about podcasting, just as a whole? Being a podcast host, what is like the favorite thing or something that you like, doing on your podcast?
So I will say for me, I'm going to go back to what I originally said. It is really the camaraderie with my girlfriend, who I've known for, almost 20 years. Just having a good time with her. Most recently, we brought on 2 more of our girlfriends that we have reconnected with. We've always been friends, but we did a show about literally being friends, and that's it. Because there's a dynamic between women, especially Black women.
Yes.
And we wanted to really discuss the dynamics of being friends, and it was my favorite episode. And I love Natisha for this because she titled the episode, "How's Your Heart?" It's a question that I always ask people, because people will say, I'll say, "How you doing?" or whatever. They'll say, "Fine." But no, I really want to know, how's your heart? Is it heavy? Is it happy? Is it joyous? And we have those conversations. And so that was the one thing that it was memorable for me. But I just love downloading. I am with corporate people all the time. I did a training once for over 400 people, and there might have been 10, maybe 20 Black people in the room. So I am with corporate people all of the time. So being able to download after I start coaching and talking to people and being in that space where you got to be on, you got your blazer, you got your power suit, you got to be on. This is a place of rest for me.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Natisha, you got anything you want to add to that?
I mean, I agree 100%. It's the connections that we have and being intentional with it. So our podcast isn't just for our listeners, it's also for ourselves. I mean, this is the time that we get to come together and communicate. And then we also get to talk about topics that are important to us. So we work on being intentional about that. Kendria is very busy. I'm very busy, but we schedule time. We make sure we make time to film the podcast, and not just film the podcast, but we don't have to be in the same room to do the podcast. We make it a point to either go to each other's house, have dinner, sit, talk, and communicate. We could do it over links like we're doing right now and not be in the same room, but that's not how we want to do it. We want to be in each other's faces and, be able to give her a hug and just talk about things in person. So being intentional and, making the time to be with each other and then talking about topics that are important to us.
Okay. And before we go any further, I'm looking at all your background. Come on with the breast cancer art in the background. This is a lady of many talents, you guys. She's been on the show before, but lady of many talents. And I need to get with you about my earrings because I looked at you in the face yesterday and didn't talk about it. All right. No, I just
all
saw
earrings can be customized as well. So
okay. Yes. Kendra had some cute ones on the other day. I'm like, you don't need those, Kendra.
She has them on right now.
I'm looking at them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jaleisha, what about you? What's something like your favorite aspect of being a podcaster? All the things. Kind of like your why. They just kind of gave their why. What's yours?
Well, I feel like I'm gonna piggyback because I'm on a female platform with two other women, and it's the connection for me. I initially went into it like thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be great for us to build an audience and build a fan base." But what I found was sisterhood from it, and one of the things like we're all on different parts of the US, and we spend 2-3 hours talking before we even get on podcasts, before we even go live. And we have meetups even afterwards, and we've cried together, we've shared stories together, we've been very vulnerable and connected. And I'm not a person that's gonna share all of my here I am, like this is everything that I've been through, this is what I'm going through to everybody. But to them, it's authentic. To them, it's genuine. And I've gained that connection with them. And even now we're on hiatus right now, taking a little break. And we're still calling each other. Hey, girl, I need to talk to you. Hey, I need to run this by you. Like, hello. Like, sister, you're not leaving. How long we on break, but we still need to catch up. So it's been the sisterhood I've gained. And I've been so blessed to have that. I'm just grateful for it.
Now, your other two co-hosts, where are they located?
T is located in South Carolina, and Tracy, she's based in El Paso, but right now she is traveling. She's a coach, and so she just travels every week. She's somewhere else, so she's everywhere.
Okay, she's everywhere. Okay, cool. Tawanda.
Yeah, so I am a teacher at heart. I'm a teacher, and I believe that personal development is so very important, and it is something that we are all responsible for. So the podcast for me is a way to help people grow in their personal development. I've been passionate about that for many, many years. And so I wanted to use a platform that allowed me to share my thoughts and ideas about how we grow first in self-leadership for ourselves, and then how we serve with excellence in the Lord's church. So that's my why. I just want our people to grow and to mature and be better.
That's my why. You just said everything you just said. Add professional development to the equation. That has been my vibe of 2022 is growing in personal and professional development. You just can't stay stagnant. Right. And having this podcast as a way, we've gotten people that have come on and it's their first time on a podcast. They are so scared behind the scenes, and it's something about when we go live. You see that red rectangle over there. We go live, and it's like a switch went off, and then we'll get offline, and they're like, "Robbin, that was fun. I almost canceled on you. This was fun. Let's do it again." I have people that are asking to come back for future stuff that they have going. That was scared. One person was shaking prior to it. Kesha can attest, shaking. We went live, and Kesha and I talked afterwards, and we was like, she said she was nervous. So I love that I'm helping people step out of their bubble, just a little bit, just a smidge, and to see them go off and do other podcasts, to see them go off and do public speaking when they wasn't doing public speaking before. I was the scared of public speaking, and I lead a life group. I'm a life group coach at church, all the things, and have to speak in front of people. And I was scared to do this opportunity, and I'm glad that I did not let fear hinder me from this opportunity. we wouldn't be, 31 episodes later. So, yeah. Do it afraid, people. Do it afraid. Okay, few questions. What challenges do you face with podcasting? Anyone can go.
One of the challenges I face is kind of knowing, I don't know, y'all, knowing when to kind of share certain information. I don't ever want to do things for the sake of doing things and kind of like following behind folks or trying to be on trend. I am always Holy Spirit led and just knowing kind of what's going to be helpful. So that's a challenge for me because there are a lot of things that swirl around in my head like, oh, this would be great, but kind of knowing how to kind of set up my seasons, like thinking about, how to do that. Do I want to just, should it be my voice? Should I bring in other voices to add to the conversation? Sometimes that kind of like planning piece can be a bit challenging for me because if anybody's on the Enneagram, I'm a 1.
Okay, got
it. So that's kind of like that. I don't like the term perfectionist, but that kind of like having a plan and kind of following it always trips me up. But that's one of the challenges. The other challenge is for me, honestly, is kind of making time. My family is my first ministry, right? And I always want to make sure I prioritize them and that I don't kind of, sacrifice my time with them for the podcast. So kind of figuring out the timing and how that all works. Those are the 2 challenges that I face with podcasting.
Okay. You're 1 leaning over to 2 Enneagram, the perfectionist part. You're leaning just a smidge. That's okay. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a 2. Okay. It said 2 and 5.
Okay. So you're a 2 with a 5 wing. I think that's the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm naturally a planner. I have to go highly into prayer before planning out my shows, who's going to be on it, what we're going to talk about. This was planned. This was a prayer. I'm like, okay, what if I decide to do a show with just podcasters? Man, who would come on? And lo and behold, I have you all here tonight. But yeah, I get it. And I'm, again, naturally a planner. So I can dig that. Okay. Thank you, Tawanda. Anybody else want to share any challenges when it comes to podcasting?
I would say that creating relevant and exciting topics that people want to talk about, like I said in the beginning, I started the podcast just me on there talking about what was on my heart, whatever I felt like talking about. But I think that what made the podcast continue and the longevity of it so far is me being able to look over at my friend and her tell me, no, girlfriend, no, we're not going to talk about that. Or her tell me, wow, it's a really good topic. I love that, and brainstorming and then being transparent. Like it's nerve-wracking, to hit that publish button and have your podcast go live. And then it's like, is anybody going to listen to it besides my family, and getting the feedback and hearing about, oh, okay, well, someone does like that. Oh, I listened to your podcast, or they got my joke. That was so funny. I was laughing the whole time. Someone told me I love listening to your podcast while I'm going on walks. So, stepping outside the box and being transparent and being genuine about like what you're saying and the topics, and then, having to get over that fear of putting yourself out there.
Okay.
Agreed. And time, right? Time.
Yes.
Time. We are all busy. Jaleisha and Tawanda and Letitia, we are all so very busy. I'm one of those people that I travel every month, sometimes 2 and 3 times and 4 and 5 times a month. Letitia has to track me down like a hound dog sometimes. Kendria, I need your schedule 2 months in advance. And just recently she said, okay. I said, okay, what about October the 8th? And she goes, you can't do October the 8th. And I'm like, why? She's like, you got this on your calendar. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. So for me, it's time. She has to keep me in order. And then we're recording, 2, sometimes 3 episodes at a time. And if we didn't do that, I don't know how we would be so consistent, because consistency, as you all know, is key.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So,
all right, Jaleisha, you have anything you care to add?
I was just gonna piggyback. The consistency thing is everything. That's like the main thing. And when me and the ladies started the podcast together, we were brainstorming and putting it together 3 or 4 months before we even went live, because we wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. And so sometimes where I have weaknesses, they have strengths, or where their strengths are, or where their weaknesses are, those are my strengths. And so one of the things this is forced on me is to show up, is to be consistent. Okay, even if we're not live, we have meetings every week. You got to be there for the meeting. We got to talk about it. We got to have a powwow. You got to be present. If you can't be present, we got to communicate what's going on. It's like you have to be accountable to not just myself, but to my podcast hosts, my girls, and then to the fans and to the people that are listening, because they're coming back every week. They're looking for the episodes. So you have to be consistent. You have to have a discipline. You have to be determined and resilient, because there's going to be times you're like, oh, I don't think this week I'm not feeling it, y'all, but we got to press through. Or I know one of my girls, she was dealing with multiple deaths in her family this past year. Everyone was passing away, unfortunately, and she still was pressing through it. And we didn't force her to do anything like that, but she wanted to still do it. She still wanted to be present. And those times you got to have communication. You got to be able to verbalize, because you still have people that are waiting for a podcast, waiting to hear from you. So it's just about communication and discipline and consistency. This is no light work, but it's fun.
Right. So true. We had another question in the chat. Are you ladies monetizing off of podcasting, or is that the goal? Anybody can go.
I would say, go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think that we are, and I'll let Natisha cover this. But it's a great opportunity for us to also, like we're doing tonight, talk about our businesses and where people can find us. I have found clients on Instagram and people who have heard our podcast. So I don't know if that's not our intention. Sometimes it is a happy accident that it happens,
right.
But we haven't done any promoting or promoting of other products or things like that. So Natisha, I will let you take the second half of that.
Yeah,
back to you, Natisha. Back to you.
We are not monetized, but we are 1,000% open to it. So we will not turn that down at all.
Amen.
But yeah, Kendria is right. We love the platform. Anything new that's coming up with us, we talk about it. We're not denying the monetization of our podcast, but at this point we're not. And I hope eventually we can be. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Jaleisha, Tawanda.
I'll go. So we are not, well, we put it out there, but we're not that space yet that we're receiving it, but we put it out there. But the intention has always been to have fun and to just be ourselves, and to, as long as we're showing up as ourselves and enjoying what we do, that eventually it will get to that place, as long as we continue to show up. So we are putting it out there, and we are claiming that it's coming. But if they want to go ahead and offer, you can come on with it.
The doors of the church are open.
Come on with it.
Yeah, so the short answer is no. That wasn't the goal, but it is not something that is off the table for consideration. I'll say it that way. It's not off the table for consideration, but it has not been the goal.
That was me last year. I was like, let's see how this thing goes. Mm-hmm. That was me last year. Let's see how this thing goes. And then 2022 hit, and I was like, okay, let's look into some ways to monetize it. Because I see podcasts like Drink Champs and some of these other guys that are getting like major sponsors and all the things. And I'm like, how can I be down? Just saying. So yeah, that was a good question. Thank you for putting that out there. Other than, time management and all those things, what are you ladies learning as becoming podcasts? What are some skills you're like, man, I picked that up? Besides time management and all the things and consistency, what are some things you've kind of like picked up? You like, man, this podcast, man, has me more organized or, whatever.
Well, I speak all the time. That is what I do for a living, which is why I'm sitting here drinking some lemon and honey and ginger water, because I just got done today speaking for 4 hours. And so it's sometimes it's a stress for me at times, because I do speak and then I have to come on a podcast and we record a couple of episodes. But it is different, right?
Yeah,
it's very different from being on stage or in front of people and being on a podcast. I've learned better inflection, which helps me with speaking when I'm talking to people or doing a training, because people are not necessarily seeing us sometimes. Right. They're hearing us. So how can I even be more engaging when you have no reason to engage with me? So I really take some of those skills and apply them when I'm working with my clients on a daily basis. So being able to find ways to be engaging has really, really helped me get really great feedback from my clients.
Okay. I'm with you there as far as the engaging, finding new ways to keep the audience engaged, knowing that you can't sit there every episode and talk about the exact same thing every episode, which I love with my guests. Everyone is from a different walk of life, different business, different journey. You get to hear different story every show. I don't think you've ever heard the same story on my show, every show. So working on engaging and like a little bit like Natisha mentioned with speaking about relevant topics, kind of the research piece of it, I've learned to kind of step my research game up. That's why I had those stats for you earlier, with podcasting stats. Yes. Anybody else care to share anything they've learned, picked up on since starting their podcast?
I guess I can say I've learned to love my voice. Yes. So in the beginning, it was like, kind of cringy to hear yourself or to hear myself on the podcast. And, like Kendria was saying, the enunciation without sounding phony or sounding like a broadcaster, sounding like you're having a conversation, but enunciating your words and not mumbling. I think that was the big thing for Kendria and I, because we have a lot of nonverbal communication and a lot of eye contact and a lot of side eye. And there are things that we do that we had to not do that on the podcast. We had to verbally say what we were thinking. And that was kind of weird for me at first, because I can look at her and then she'd be like, girl, I know. But in the podcast, I had to say what I was feeling and, what we were talking about, because we normally don't video our podcast. We just do the audio. And every once in a while, we'll do a video just for fun. But I think we both enjoy just being able to lounge and not have to worry about being on camera. And that helps us to kind of relax and just be really cool with it. But yeah, that was the big thing I had to learn how to do, was enunciate, but not be too robotic and things like that.
I think for me, it was kind of like Robbin on the research piece, right? So I'm a teacher and I'm a preacher, so I'm always talking, right? I'm always doing that, always finding ways to communicate. But that whole research piece, I learned definitely being able to get the information in a way and communicate it in a concise way, using my words to, as people are listening, to help them visualize what I'm saying, and to be able to envision it, that they're just not listening to something that's boring. Like, how can I make this interesting? Whether it's by the way that I talk, I try not to put the preach in my voice. I try to be the teacher, but putting that research content piece together is one that I learned, and I actually love it. I've grown to love it. At first, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is a little bit more than I think I wanted to do," but I've actually grown to love it.
I would say for myself is that I had to release the expectation. So release an expectation of, like, we record audio, but also video. And so I used to be like, oh, wow, when we get high viewership, oh, we doing so good. And then the next episode, it ain't that high. And I'm like, oh, God, like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong here? And honestly, it was messing with the way I was performing. I feel like I was being self-critical because I was like, maybe we need to change the way we're talking, maybe we need to do whatever. And I was praying about it and being intentional. And I just realized you got to just calm down and relax. Mm-hmm. If you are just who you are, your audience, either they didn't catch it then, they're going to catch it later. And so you can't be wanting to, I got to appease why they not watching right now. You just got to be you. And that's not what you're doing this for. And that was something I didn't know was going to come up when I started doing the podcast, but it came up real quick. But I had to nip it in the bud. So that's something I learned.
Okay. Well, ladies, why is the hour almost up? How quickly that went by.
That's fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So real quick, before I wrap us up, everyone's going to go around. I'm going to go around the room again, and everyone's going to say their name and their show and how you can be watched, seen, streamed, all the things. So, Tawanda.
Yes, I'm Tawanda Coles again, and I host the Operating in the Spirit of Kingdom Excellence podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts. You can connect with me on Facebook at Tawanda D. Coles, and Kingdom Excellence Consulting, which is the consulting firm that I use to help do what I do, and over on Instagram at Kingdom Excellence Consulting. And the Facebook group that I host, that I share for kingdom leaders, is called Serving with Kingdom Excellence on Facebook. That's how you guys can connect with me.
She be posting some good gems on there, good videos. I be watching.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Jaleisha.
Hey everybody, again, I'm Coach Jaleisha J, and you can connect with Girls Be Like, the podcast. We're on all platforms. We come out every Friday, but we stream live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you can check us out. When you look us up, it's Girls Be Like, the podcast. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram. We do have our own Facebook group in Facebook, and you can ask to be a part of it, or you can follow our Facebook page and just tap in. We are crazy, so it's unfiltered. Just tap in and let the any type, gotta be open minded, but just come on in, and we got something for you.
I love it. All right, Kendria, Natisha.
So, Natisha, I will let them know where we are going to be, what we do. I will just say personally, my Instagram is I co-host the Sisters with Voices podcast with my bestie Natisha. I also have a consulting company, TGH Solutions Insight. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook at the Kendria Taylor. And then tghsolutions.com is my website. And again, I co-host the Sisters with Voices podcast. And so, Natisha, I'm going to kick it over to you.
And our Sisters with Voices podcast is available on Anchor. It's available on Spotify, Google Podcasts. It is the Sisters with Voices podcast. I am You can find me on Instagram under Creative Ideas, where you can purchase any of these wonderful pieces. You can get some earrings, some coasters, any kind of creative artwork I have. If anyone comes out to my market on Sunday in Carrollton and tell me that you saw the Mamaprenuer podcast, you will get $10 off a $40 purchase.
Love it. Thank you all so much for coming on tonight and sharing all things podcasting. All things podcasting. And make sure you're following the Kelton platform. Girl, got it clapping, Jesus. All right. Make sure you're following the Power Team platform. We have shows on Wednesday nights, first and third Thursdays with the fabulous Steph Powell. Myself, second and fourth Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Please make sure you're following moi at Mamaprenuer Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Also, Savvy Salon Systems on Instagram and TikTok, and Rejuvenate Jewels Boutique. That's Facebook, Instagram, and you want to go onto my personal page right now because I'm about to go live and showcase some jewelry. Thank you again, Divas, for coming on tonight. Everybody, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace out.
Thank you for having me.